Good morning.
Happy Monday.
All right. Good Monday. Jamie and I are matching. We're in the same vibe today.
Yeah.
Kids are back to school this week.
First day
So
of
it makes
school
sense.
vibe. Yeah.
Our starts later this week, but at least we're kicking it off.
Well, my youngest started his first day of kindergarten today. So it was a big family milestone. I can't promise there weren't any tears. But it was cute.
We won't ask who the tears came from.
He did really good.
Good.
Oh, so
Lots
cute.
of pay raise too. Congrats.
Oh my goodness. No more daycare. Thank goodness. Yeah.
Yeah. What did you do this weekend, Michael?
Oh man, good question. Same old, I think. Nothing wild. Dadder Day. Got the dads and the boys together and let them run wild. I feel like we did something fun, but I guess it wasn't that fun. What about you? You cooked for 3,000 people?
Oh my God. Yeah, we had our big family reunion, our 175th anniversary, and my cousin and I and my immediate family basically cooked we did cook for 300 people. And the biggest group I'd ever cooked for before was 60. And we're off the grid in the middle of the wilderness. So we had like a refrigerated trailer, everything's running on generators, and just like the sheer volume of like chopping. I knew it was going to be a lot of work, but I wasn't really like, as I was in it, I'm like, this is so much work. I'm so tired.
What do you cook on? Just like lots of open fires?
So we did I made the menus. So all of the sides could be things that were like assemble and then cool. So like pasta salad, potato salad, like cowboy coleslaw, that kind of thing. And then we did 2 cajachinas, which are like roasting boxes full of pork shoulder and pork butt, and then chicken thighs and hot dogs on the grill. And then had all of my extended family members. We did like dessert potluck. So every home or every family like brought a dessert to share. And we had a band and 2 DJs and kegs, and we got a family photo. So there's 300 of us in this photo. It's pretty crazy. So
Is the band all family members?
No, the band is not family members. They were hired. And then the DJs, one is my good friend Dan, and another is a good friend of my cousin named Sam. And they're professional DJs, and they did us a huge favor and came in and, threw a party for us.
Rocked out at a family reunion.
Yeah, they were like, this is a lot of people. And it was just so fun. It's like really great. A lot of times because family members share homes up here, share camps. So people are staggered throughout the summer, throughout the year. This is like one of the times when like everybody finds a way to kind of like fit. And so it's great. I spent time with family members I hadn't seen in, a decade or something. It was really, really nice. So, but yeah, my immediate family got roped in because I volunteered to do it. So we boiled like 100 pounds of pasta, 100 pounds of potatoes. I mean, it's just really like astonishing quantities.
On what surfaces?
We got 2 huge like crayfish boil or crawfish boil pots, and we're doing those. And then so that was it.
One thing or 2 out of a southern tailgate. All right.
Yes, yeah. Exactly. Lots of propane.
In New Orleans.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, very fun. A showcase of like, I think when, a lot of our listeners are obviously very good at being hosts and have hospitality in their nature. And you can see, like, I had some cousins that were like, I don't even know how you are possibly doing this. And it was so much fun. I really enjoyed it. But I think for our 200th, I think we should fundraise for caterers.
Yeah.
That's my vote. Well, before we hop into our stories for today, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors at StayFi. StayFi helps short-term rental operators build direct guest relationships through branded email marketing and guest data tools that turn one-time bookers into repeat guests. So start growing your direct booking revenue today at stayfi.com/goodmorninghospitality. So first up, our favorite recently, Airbnb doing fun things. Skift put out a great article about Airbnb's next act, getting into tickets, which is a branch off of experiences, we would say, and then perhaps parlaying into a wallet, and similar to how Starbucks has a customer wallet. So want to
Let's
get you
table the wallet
what?
discussion. I said, let's table the wallet discussion.
Yes, yes.
We'll
Let's
loop around
start with
too.
tickets. Start with tickets. I think this makes
Airbnb,
a lot of sense, but go ahead, Michael.
Airbnb is the king or queen or whatever at PR, and they find their way into the news cycle all the time, and bringing in people to build a ticketing platform. It's another week. It's another type of vertical that Airbnb is trying to push into or expand into, becoming more and more and more like a traditional OTA. So I think we, at this point, can confidently say they're running full steam ahead at becoming a full-blown OTA. But it looks like and we'll get into the wallet component later, but they're we'll see how it plays out. Doing this many things at once, I think, is going to be a big lift for them.
Yeah, that's kind of my thought. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jamie.
So I think this feeds exactly out of what they talked about in May at their product launch. Like they had really, with experience, pushed into what are the special experiences you can do on trips 2, 3, 4 into a market. And then what they realize is that the things that really do well are first time trip into a market. And a lot of those are tickets to the museum, tickets to the church. If you're going to Spain, you're going to Gaudi, you're going to Sagrada Familia, you're doing the things that you do on the first trip. And it's not necessarily you want this specialized tour with someone where you're going to go deep. You want to hit the highlights. And a lot of the highlights are just getting the tickets to the things you want to go to. So I really love this in terms of their strategy of like, how do we become an experiences OTA? And a lot of what you're buying on Viator, a lot of what you're buying on Get Your Guide are just tickets to things that already exist. And it is a lot of work, to your point, Michael. I'm getting into the reservation systems, the channel management for experiences, but that's what they arguably should have done in 2016 when they first launched experiences. Get into this ecosystem and then build out the customized stuff that really makes you unique.
Well, I was thinking about when I heard tickets, I obviously had like the museum tickets and things like that, but I was like thinking concert and sporting tickets. And, there's been a lot of lawsuits and things like that with Ticketmaster and Live Nation, and they're basically like stranglehold on at least the American kind of ticket market. And so I'm wondering if, because that's kind of getting broken up a little bit, or at least there is movement to do that, if now that's one of the reasons why they're going to push full into this. Because I actually think I can see, okay, Taylor Swift probably isn't doing another Eras tour, but let's imagine she is. And and you're like, okay, if I can, yeah, I really hope she does. But then if you can just like buy all of that together, like your Airbnb for the girl squad that's going, or for the dads taking all their daughters and their friends, and you do all of that in one spot, I think that could make a lot of sense. I mean, those are, especially if you're traveling for a soccer game or a football game or whatever it is.
Yeah. I mean, Viator is a really big and valuable business. And I would venture to guess, maybe Jamie has the data, but I'd venture to guess the big tourist attractions are the vast majority of their revenue. The Vatican, the Louvre, the Met, etc. And I would be inclined to just click, yes, add 4 tickets to the Louvre if I'm booking a place in Paris. So it makes total sense. It just runs in the face of what Airbnb has always said they are, which is that individual, that special, that local experience, which is totally fine. This is a maturation step to becoming an OTA and not just a live like a local. But branding, I think they've got to figure out how to thread the needle with the branding that they built through the years that was so good and so dedicated to like individual host welcomes family for a wonderful stay. And now it's professionalizing to eventually stay in a Marriott and go stay at the Louvre.
Yeah, well, they're after that sweet Tam,
I also think that they're pushing out of like what we built the platform, and Live Like a Local is a relatively small piece of the overall traveling public. The platform has moved mainstream, and Brian said it on the earnings calls, like there's a different type of trip for a different type of person based on what the use case of that trip is. Like when we were just in Iceland, like we weren't booking concert tickets with the family, we're booking tickets to the museum. And like it is, yeah, I think I love how they are, as part of going more mainstream, moving outside of what they originally were to make themselves a more inclusive platform for the types of trips that are happening.
So now on to the second component of this article, the wallet.
Which is, it's more fun.
So I, pre-show we were chatting a bit about this, and the comparison in the article is to Starbucks that has like over $1 billion or something like that in customer money just sitting on there that they're making interest on, that they're recognizing revenue on, all this stuff. And my point was like Starbucks is coffee. That's something that you're consuming potentially every day, potentially multiple times a day. And so you're in that app, you're adding $50 to it, you're, whatever. And that it might be more difficult, these purchases, even if it's an experience that you're doing semi-regularly. I don't see people using that wallet as much. But Jamie, you had some good counterpoints to this from personal experience.
Yeah, and I have been trying to use and the loyal, and they don't have Airbnb doesn't have a loyalty program, but I've been booking more and more hotels through Hotel Tonight, whether it's personal or travel. And then you do start to build up credits that then be used towards future stays. They get auto applied, but you do already start to see the sense of like, okay, the more and more stuff I start to book through Airbnb that are, and then accrue loyalty points or loyalty dollars as they are in the form today. Like you're not getting points, you're getting like, I've got $53 in my account to spend. And and you guys know how like you build money and it's like, oh, this is burning a hole in my wallet. You build points. So like, I don't know what a point is, but $53 to go and spend on something, like, what am I going to spend it on? So I do see, and the article talks about that this could be and will be the basis for future sort of financial transactions that they could be enabling through the platform. So I go and book a hotel, I'm going to come up to New York in a bit, and now I've got $100 that, okay, maybe I do want to go spend it on a concert and go to, who's touring right now, Mumford and Sons. Like, and they're like, all of a sudden I'm mixing a local experience with a trip I'm booked for work, and work's now paying for me to go on a concert.
Yeah, I think on a personal note, I need to start kind of following your lead and booking. I've admittedly, I think I've used Hotel Tonight like once. So
Hotel Tonight's a great platform. I like it.
But it'll be, I always wonder when we're in our travel bubble of people who are so in touch with what's going on, like if what you're doing and how you're using the product is going to really spread to the consumers at large. Because I feel like right now there are so many different platforms like this that are trying to get your attention. Like if you're a Chase Sapphire Reserve person or an MX Platinum, and like, where do you dedicate your spending in your travel? And, it'll be, everybody's kind of competing for the same type of person. And that's what I think is really interesting, and who's going to win and what are the different travel behaviors for each of those different types of people.
Well, the why you do it is clear. I just did a quick ChatGPT search. The SkyMiles platform that Delta owns is worth, according to GPT, an estimated $30 billion. Marriott's platform is worth just shy of that, estimated $25 billion. Now, if that's completely wrong, blame ChatGPT, but it sounds like it's probably pretty right. And that's why Airbnb is doing it. Now, the difference is Delta is selling direct, Marriott is selling direct. I don't know if there's a third-party loyalty system that's as valuable outside of the credit card points.
Yeah.
I'd imagine the MX points or the Chase or Capital One points are extremely valuable, but this is why they're doing it, because they can, one, sit on a bunch of cash, two, drive bookings from Jamie's work travel to his leisure travel. And it's a smart play. I think those that will benefit most will be the short-term rental hosts and owners on Airbnb's platform. Those that, stand to gain the least would be the hotels on the platform that people are just earning points off of and not actually burning more points through.
Yeah, well, some of these things are just in their infancy. They're hiring for these positions, so I'm sure in 6 months or however long it'll take to get things for the next article to come out, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But speaking of OTAs, Expedia just bought an AI trip planner, Layla, and for adding to their continuing AI, plans, and Layla is going to continue to operate on its own, and then they're folding it into Expedia over time. And pre-show, Jamie did his own planning. So Jamie, how did the experience go with Layla this morning?
So, and you guys know I've loved playing with a lot of these AI trip planners. So, and admittedly, I don't think it's too different from Odessia, which we saw Francis roll out earlier this year. Like, it's really leveraging the LLM models to go out, find and build an itinerary, find lodging inventory, put together the flights, put together the experiences, the things that you're going to be doing while you're on that trip. And I think they do an incredible job of laying out your entire trip pretty quickly, and then making it relatively easy to book. And there was definitely like some bugs in it. Like I was going through I was going pretty broad in the area I was going, and it gave me one lodging option when I clicked. And then when it went and built my itinerary, it had me in entirely different places. And what it does is I think it gives them a sandbox to be testing on what AI trip planning might be. And that doesn't have to live within the Expedia platform, and whether it's Expedia, Vrbo, hotels.com, where it's exposing billions of people and their existing flows to experimenting on what this next phase is going to look like. So keeping it separate, bridging in the Expedia inventory, and they've got the best B2B platform probably out there for bringing in all the different lodging experiences, cars, all that into it. And just if you had the inventory, you had the great developers that maybe Layla has, what could be built, and doing it where Expedia can capture that value as opposed to letting someone figure it out and having to buy it later on once they actually did.
Yeah.
So
good, Brandon.
I have a quick question before you hop in there, Michael. So what we talked about a couple weeks ago, what is the difference between doing this I agree with your statement that Expedia is playing in the sandbox and keeping it separate now, and then I think integrating it into Expedia later on and having that workflow, that makes a lot of sense. When right now in the state that we're in, why would you go to one of these travel planners instead of just typing in to Claude or ChatGPT or anything like that? If they're leveraging the LLMs, why would you even do that?
One reason, a prettier interface.
I'll push back on that one. I think if you can start with the premise of your trip, what is your ultimate goal? And then I think what everyone wants to get to is a click buy of I want to buy this and I want to have it complete my air travel, my rental car, my Vrbo stay, have all of that happen with you do the one prompt app that people want to build. I want the one prompt trip that I can say, here's what I want to do. Now just go and book it. And right now, no one really has the integrations built that they can do that. And I think that's where Layla and working with Expedia and having now Expedia own it, they've got the inventory they've got the information maybe already in your one key platform, like all the information about you, marry that data in with their AI developers and be able to bring that all in, like that they could sort of one shot the trip planning. And I think that's the holy grail here.
Well, I want to go back to why I think Expedia bought Layla, and it's less as a sandbox, but my total guess as to why is they were driving some traffic in the B2B realm, and Layla was going to die otherwise. So they just kept it alive to keep driving some bookings. I did a little test before the show as well. I asked for a fun family trip within driving distance from Auburn, Alabama. It said Gatlinburg is a great option. I said, okay. It flipped me to a different page. And then I said, keep the budget under a certain amount. And then it sent me to New Orleans. So the tech, it doesn't seem good. It's not.
What do you have against New Orleans?
I love New Orleans. I would, but if Layla knew me, it would know my brother lives in New Orleans, and I wouldn't look for a place to stay there. So to Brandy's point, I would just search in ChatGPT or in Gemini, Google, which we'll get to in just a second. But my guess is Expedia just didn't want to shut down a channel, and so they just kept it alive. And it's just, obviously not for the tech. They might be buying it for the data that Layla's comprised over the past however many years, 3 years. But I can't imagine they didn't disclose the value. So I can't imagine it was a big payday for anybody.
Yeah, that was I was like, how much did they pay for this? And it says, 135 million trips planned, but like, does your trip that you just did count as one of those? Like, how many accurate trips have been planned?
Right. I saw another number where it was like $1 billion in trips planned. It's like, but how many of those actually get booked? A lot of people play with things like this. I saw some rumors that this was more of a acqui-hire. Like they wanted to bring on the team. They want to keep this team and sort of developing separately, keep them in San Francisco, let it be and sort of skunkworks type of project. Like that makes sense to me with a big company like Expedia, where they launched, what was it, Romy last year, 2 years ago, where it was like their AI trip planning tool.
Should have sued him for copyright infringement.
Yeah.
Gotten paid that way.
We didn't see that do much or go, and I'm not even sure if that's still running, but it's always fun for these big companies to have a way to experiment.
Well, we have another company experimenting with AI. I mean, it's just like, I wish that there was some other company coming in, because the companies in our space that are doing the most right now are obviously all the same big ones over and over because they have all the money to do it. So, but Google's AI pivot is using travel to kind of sell the story. And that makes a lot of sense. At least especially to us, because we've been talking about how travel, it's like a great way to use AI right now, these LLMs, because you're giving so much detail to these prompts. We have, IHG is now directly integrating with Google, and so you'll be able to see those search results pop up in like that AI overview. So it's the first of the big flags, but certainly not the last.
Yeah. So Booking and Expedia have already done some levels of integrations with Google, and IHG has done it too. It just means the big boys are leaning into this in a big way, which says, and it should put all of us longer tail folks on watch, that it's happening. It's happening fast. The ads that Google has had over the past quarter, it was a quarterly number, right? Was up 17%. So ads on Google have not dropped at all. It didn't show how much we're through AI mode or how much we're just traditional, but people are trying to spend more and more on Google because search is now harder and harder. It's being dispersed in more places than just Google. So this is a fascinating spot. Where people start their searches is changing, which is, I think, good for all of us. More competition is better. Google dominated and owned it. Two of its top 5 spenders historically on Google Ads were Booking and Expedia. So of course, this makes total sense that they're going to lean into it. I'm curious to see how the long tail reacts, how the independent hotels or short-term rental operators. Jamie smiles because I think this is a chance for the long tail to gain market share back. But if they're asleep at the wheel, then the OTAs will absolutely dominate.
Yeah. And I see this like clearly playing into my thesis of like the OTAs, the big chains are going to be able to work with the large platforms, whether it's Google, ChatGPT, Anthropics of the world. Like they've got the ad dollars to deploy. They've been deploying them. Like these platforms need to make money. Travel is what's supported them for decades. And like it, yeah, it's exciting to see the direct plays happening, right? If anyone was going to figure it out direct, it was going to be the IHGs, the Marriotts, the Hiltons. It's just, can the independents work with these large companies in the same way that some of these large brands and OTAs can to drive traffic to their sites? And I think that's still really yet to be seen. And if it didn't happen, in a big way in our old paradigm, like I'm not necessarily sure it's going to happen in the new one.
I really, really could have used you at the STR retreat because that was my side of the debate, and we didn't get most of the group on our side.
Well, and the reason here, I think that the long tail does have a chance is because search is so deep, and Brandy has more information on her homes than she gives to Airbnb or Expedia or Booking. And the article shares that the long tail advertising is getting better and better, and people are converting more and more because it gets so specific. Historically, people aren't searching in long form. They search in keywords. But as people shift to the long tail, it gives you the opportunity to present the long tail and convert that ad versus not being in the top 1 or 2 that Expedia and Booking own.
Maybe I spend too much time looking at the long tail is doing. Like they're not even filling out their Airbnb and Vrbo listing pages, much less having more content.
Okay, the mid tail.
What they're putting in there.
Mid tail. Well, I mean, on like the positive, optimistic side for operators, I do think that, to Michael's point, those who are like trying to be on top of things, who are interested in experimenting, who are trying to at least figure out ways that we can like step on this rocket ship that is happening, there might be some opportunity now, you know? And there's people who still refuse to list on certain OTAs because of feelings, right? Like they're not going to be the first ones to jump on figuring out how to get their properties read on, by Claude, right? But those that do might stand a chance. And then maybe if people start to see success stories, that's how you can build. Or maybe the OTAs will come in and totally squash everyone. I mean, I think that just remains to be seen. Or maybe there's a third option where there's a new, like the OTAs will be so confident that they have dominance that there's new OTAs maybe that come in. I don't know. I think that there's so much happening right now that predictions just seem like I never would have predicted some of the things that we're talking about right now, a couple of years ago. So it's, I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Well, I'd love the audience to weigh in on, are you in camp OTAs will dominate everything, or camp now's your chance for the long tail to make an impact?
Yeah, a good audience poll would be good. So comment in the episode. Maybe we'll send out a poll at some point on the LinkedIn page and get people's opinions. See who gets spicy in the comments. People feel very passionate about this.
I did reach out to your buddy Jason at Kismet, so he's going to come on the STR Data Lab, and I'm going to give him a chance to convince me otherwise, since I missed when you guys had him on GMH.
Yeah,
That's gonna be a
Great.
can't miss episode.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, great episode today, guys. I'm happy that your kids are either in school or about to go back to school, and you can maybe have some more time to yourself. What do you guys have going on this week? Nothing?
Man, getting the kids off to school was my only goal for the week, and that's been complete. But I'm getting back into the day-to-day grind. My wife is out of town this weekend coming up, Friday through Monday, so I've got the long time with the kids, and we're going to plan all sorts of fun goodies to keep everyone busy and entertained.
Nice.
And
How about
probably
you, Mike?
after a long week of not enough sleep and stress of going back to school. So it should be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for some reason school doesn't start until Friday. It's very weird how they do it down here. So getting through this week and then getting back to a normal schedule and swing of things next week. So survival. That's the focus.
I love that.
You any more travels? Where are you headed?
Gosh, guys, my week 3 of B2B work travel. I'm waking up at 2 a.m. to drive to the Albany airport for a flight to Steamboat Springs, Colorado. So, that's what I'm doing.
You'll be there by 8 a.m.
Yeah. Well, I have to drive 3.5 hours to Albany and then get on my flight.
Never
Do
mind.
you at least have direct or into Steamboat, or do you have to fly into Denver and drive?
No, it's I was really happy that Albany to Denver existed. That did not exist a couple years ago. So I thought I was going to have 3 flights, but I only have 2. And the Denver to Steamboat flight is it's like 30 seconds. It's so short. So that's fine. It's just Thursday on the way back. Like going West Coast to East Coast just destroys your whole day. Like
West Coast is the worst, isn't it?
Yeah. Completely agree.
Well, I hope you guys, I'm sending positive vibes to both of you for your different stages of back to school and survival. Thanks to everyone who commented on the live show. Really love having that kind of audience participation. And thank you to all of you who are listening on the downloads later on. We will see you all next week.